Okay, I'm gonna try to start posting some stuff on different ways of getting material to improvise with. So let's see. So if you go, I'm gonna kind of use my subs. If you go to my playing jazz standards and playing jazz standards in a jazz way, is that there's a thread, and the last one I posted was on Autumn Leaves, I think, but it talked about how I use different ways to pull different harmonic areas from on a tune. The way I described that one is using subs, and how I pull from subs to get other sources of chords, but I also use it to get different sources of melodic material to pull from. In this example, there's another thread going on. It's called the standards. They changed the tune. They're going to do one on CR. Sorry, but anyway, I'm going to use the beginning of that tune because it's a 2-5-1. Do is change that. I'm going to make this come up with the 5 chord, make it alt. The way to do this is take the sub of the 5 chord and take the sub of the sub, which ends up being that collection notes, makes that altered. If you look at the other thread, it'll go through that explanation. It takes a while. So, and I'm also going to make this the 1 chord a 5 chord. Now a 5 chord of the. What I did there is I took the sub 5-5 approach, so the way I'm going to solo this, it makes me be able to play blue notes. So blue note, flat 3 and flat 7. So originally I was in kind of chord tone thing. Have fun with that. Chord tones are cool, but the way I'm going to do is add blue notes, and the way I use those is through that sub of sub process. They come up with, and the way now I'm going to use rhythm with those used points to create patterns that I play on. When I usually play, I play grooves. If I'm going to do so I'm going to, in between using the blue notes, which gives me, for me, it's more melodic. You usually hit the blue notes on those 5 chords. It creates a pattern I go to use. So anyway, if I record that. Accent to set up a feel and resolve it. So all those are just, I'm using rhythm just to set up that simple. Blue notes. it's a, you know, I'm using the rhythm to set them up, and then, you know, you can use dynamics and use your personal character, whatever you want to do to make it emphasize. It's almost bluegrass. You know, anyway, so I'll noodle around and I'll try to develop something. So same kind of pattern, just using little licks to feel it. I just took a simple idea and, you know, use rhythm and blue notes to kind of, those are the blue notes. And what I'm doing is, instead of just going the chord tones, a lot of guys just play pentatonics, you know. They kind of work, and you can use them, but you got to use the blue notes in context with them. Otherwise, you're just, you know, there's certain notes that work better over different chords. I got this one thing going to a 5. You got to make sure you hit the blue notes on the 5 to make sure they resolve back to your 1. Or whatever pattern you set up, you got to stay with it. You know, I use the sub 5 to come up with these blue notes, so now I want to make sure I use them in that pattern so my whole thing works together, you know, as a unit, rather than start having conflicting ideas, and then you get kind of weird rhythmic feel, and sometimes it just doesn't feel right. The way to make it feel right is to use your ideas together. If I'm pulling subs from this chord, make sure I use them on there, you know. Anyway, I hope it helps.